This video is just a quick preview of one of over 200 step-by-step percussion lessons included in our Conga Chops membership. So don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and head over to congachops.com to start your free 7-day trial and check out everything we've got on the site.
Now it's time for us to combine everything we've worked on so far to learn how to play through an entire arrangement in a salsa dura style. This period of salsa loosely spans from the late 1950s, where the term salsa was first adopted for commercial purposes, into the early 80s, when various other musical genres started to influence salsa in different ways than had been previously heard. The word salsa literally translates to sauce in English, which is in essence exactly what this music is. A combination of rhythms, melodies, and songs based on various styles deriving from the Afro-Cuban son that also incorporate a bunch of other Cuban rhythms as well as other grooves from across the Caribbean. It's important to note that this period in salsa generally refers to the post-Cuban Revolution era, where Afro-Cuban music became extremely popular and flourished outside of Cuba, predominantly in New York City and Puerto Rico, but also in neighboring countries like Panama, Colombia, and Venezuela. All the while, there was a parallel musical revolution happening in Cuba from the 60s onward that was largely kept out of the mainstream Latin music community due to the US embargo. So although there were many incredible and extremely popular bands in Cuba throughout this time, the term salsa only became more commonly used in Cuba as of the early 90s, and with a bit of apprehension. After all, the folks at Fania Records had basically taken a melting pot of pre-existing Cuban rhythms, melodies, and songs, re-recorded them, and commercially rebranded them under one umbrella as salsa. Now, there have been meaningful contributions made by both Cuban artists as well as salsa artists from different countries across the Americas, but it's important to note that the roots of this music can be traced undoubtedly back to Cuba. In this lesson, we're going to take an in-depth look at a song from one of the giants of salsa music, percussionist Ray Barretto's 1970 release, Quítate la Máscara. The rest of the rhythm section is made up of Tony Fuentes on bongo, Oreste Vilato on timbal, Andy Gonzalez on bass, and pianist Luis Cruz. Before we get started, please take a second to pause this video and download the pertinent PDFs, which you'll find just below the video player window. The lead sheet you'll find is much more detailed than what would usually be given to us in a live playing situation, but it'll serve as a great learning tool for us to start getting comfortable with the form, dynamics, and playing through the arrangement in general. You'll see all of the unison hits written out, as well as some supplemental information for each section. So the song starts with an 8-bar horn introduction, which is extremely common in these types of arrangements. The timbalero is playing cascara in 2-3, and the bongocero is playing the bongo, which in tandem is what we refer to as a down or abajo position in terms of the percussion, because both players are playing the respective lower volume parts of their instruments. Next, we'll hear an 18-bar chorus or coro section. 16 bars of background vocals where the timbalero moves to the contracampana, while the bongocero stays on bongo, followed by a 2-bar instrumental setup to get us into the verse. In a section like this, where the timbalero moves to the bell and the bongo stays down, it's common for the bongocero to play a bit more freely than when they're just laying down the martillo to add some intensity. This can simply mean playing more language-based phrases closer together. Here on, for the purposes of this lesson, we're going to focus on what's happening between minute 126 and minute 248, where we'll start off by hearing the last 2 verses of the song. The first of these 2 verses will be 12 bars long, and the second will be 10 bars long. In the verse sections, the bongo generally plays some language-based phrases a bit more sparsely, as the lead vocal is the focal point of the arrangement. You'll hear our lock pattern, as well as some of the phrases we've covered throughout, with the entire song in the 2-3 direction of the clave. The following section we'll listen to is an 8-bar interlude that starts at minute 1.